is won by the Blue Jays, who will attack the goal to our right. Here's a handoff to Davion Mintz. Around and then back to Mintz. Mintz looks to drive against Brunk, and he immediately draws the foul. Talk about taking up from where you left off in Washington,
called on
D.C.
Butler's number 50,
Play,
Joey
Davion
Brunk.
Mintz
His first.
goes strong to the 10
Bulldogs'
and draws
first
the
team
first
foul.
foul against Joey Brunk.
And I just love that first scripted play by Mack right there, really punching that seam, getting an early foul on the big man.
Ballack, catch, release, three is good, and count the basket.
Count the three-pointer by Mitch Ballack.
Mitch Ballack off the inbounds play, drills.
Butler foul on number 2,
of a
Aaron
5-point
Thompson.
bank
That's his
three-pointer.
first,
And then Martin
second team
Krampelj
foul.
got knocked to the deck, and the Jays are going to get free throws after, actually, you're going to get possession after the made three.
Looked like the foul occurred. Martin setting the screen for Mitch right there in the corner.
So the Jays off to a 3-0 start, and because of the foul off the ball, Creighton will keep possession. The foul is on Aaron Thompson, his first. And so to inbound, they'll get it into Martin. Up top it goes to Mitch Ballack. Ballack outside to Krampelj, fakes the three, swings it outside. Zegarowski for three. Oh, and it rattles in and out. Boy, that baby looked like it was going to go down. 3-0 Jays. Here comes Butler back the other way for their first possession. Aaron Thompson looks over the defense. Goes outside to Kamar Baldwin. Baldwin, they push way out to center court, almost over the timeline. Now outside it goes to Thompson. Thompson left plenty of space, not a dangerous three-point threat, but this guy is. Tucker misses the three, it's no good. And the rebound pulled down by Creighton. They want to press the floor. Here's Zegarowski to Alexander, around to Mintz. Mintz looking for a seam, stops, pops, but it rolls off the rim, no good. Rebound to Tucker. And Butler back the other way down three. Tucker on the drive all the way in. Jays seal him off, and it's a bad pass. Good defense by the Jays. Now on the run, here comes Alexander. Stops, shoots from three, but it's off the heel, no good.
I love the aggressiveness by Creighton right here.
The aggression early by the Jays. Baldwin loses the basketball. Down the floor to Martin. Here he comes.
Martin
Krampelj for the jam. 5-0 Blue Jays.
Creighton with great intensity, both offensively and defensively. 2 possessions in a row with a turnover. Live ball going the other way.
And I'll tell you, they are just a couple of shots away from being up already 10 in this game. After 90 seconds. They have had good looks from three. Here's McDermott from three, and he bangs that one. Sean McDermott, the best three-point shooter on the team for the Bulldogs, makes it 5-3 Creighton. Action-packed first 2 minutes of basketball. Zegarowski outside for Mintz. They look down low. They get it to Martin.
Martin Krampelj
beats McDermott and jams it home. 7-3 Creighton.
Great steal right there off the ball screen by Martin. Easy finish at the rim.
McDermott trying to knock the ball away, and there was nobody home, and Krampelj with a quick 4 points. 17:50 left first half. Tucker, handoff outside, Thompson.
Actually has more dunks this season than Williamson.
If you didn't know any better, you wouldn't believe that.
Off the inbounds, Jordan Tucker gets the easy deuce, and that's going to frustrate McDermott because they worked on that in the shoot-around
They sure
today.
did. We watched them drill that over and over. One thing that drives coaches crazy is when your team gives up open layups and under the out of bounds plays.
Wow, how about Ballack from NBA range? Second three-pointer of the night for the sophomore.
Well, he's got a quick release, and McDermott tried to close out, but he didn't have his hands up, and Ballack doesn't need a lot of time to get his shot off. This Creighton team is switching everything on ball screens and dribble exchanges and trying to keep Butler out of the paint.
Kamar Baldwin yet to score for Butler. He had 28 in the first meeting earlier this season. Shot clock under 5. Thompson's going to have to put it up, and he does not get it off in time. Great defense from Creighton, causing the shot clock violation.
Well, this Creighton team not known for their defense. Last in field goal percentage defense, second to last in points per game allowed, but that was an example of them playing as a unit, staying in front, and switching on ball screens.
And a whistle and a foul going the other direction.
Dunk, and then the Ballack 3 to break.
Foul on Samson Froling, his first.
Commercial 10.
Creighton with the early lead.
8, 7.
Martin Krampelj
6.
doing work down low for the Blue Jays.
4.
Got a couple of threes, has hit both attempts. And when he is hot, he can really get in that groove and make defenses pay. A couple of substitutions for Butler. Nate Fowler into the ball game, wears 51 for the Bulldogs. Also number 5 for Butler is Paul Jorgensen. Jordan Tucker for 3, off the mark, and Fowler tried to get the rebound but pushed off his first foul. A couple of big bodies with Nate Fowler, the 6'10", 240-pound senior, and Samson Froling, the 7-foot freshman for Creighton.
This is the lineup that Butler likes to use when they have shooters on the court. So this is a interesting matchup versus Creighton.
Zegarowski. And now Mintz. Froling for 3. Rebounded by Jorgensen.
This Butler team will play with pace as well. They don't run as much as Creighton, but they try to push it and try to speed up their tempo off the miss.
Nice find inside for Fowler. Can't quite find the handle, but there's a foul called on Tyshawn Alexander. It's a tough stretch for Butler. This is the 7th game in 21 days for the Bulldogs. And Coach Laval Jordan talked to us a little bit about the fatigue, not just physically, but mentally that this team's gone through.
Well, you have to be mindful of both, and in some cases, the mental is more difficult because of the stress and the attention to detail as you watch the layup by Fowler. But, you know, a lot of film preparation, a lot of studying personnel that goes into the preparation of opponents. So,
traveling called on Alexander.
When you have that kind of heavy load, Vince, and that's what Laval Jordan was talking about, it's a combination of being smart, keeping your guys fresh, maybe not practicing as much, doing more walkthroughs, and keeping your guys fresh. When you're playing 7 games in 21 days, that's a heavy load, and certainly in the Big East, it's even heavier.
Yeah, 15th straight day for Butler, either practice or a game. They'll be glad to have the day off tomorrow.
I tell you what, no one's feeling sorry for him.
He's not getting any sympathy in this building.
That's right.
Nice drive and the finish from Jorgensen, and that's the first lead of the game for Butler.
Jorgensen's a scorer. He has a scoring mentality, very aggressive off the bounce.
Davion Mintz counters for Creighton.
That mid-range game by Mintz is something he's really improved on, and with the new lineup, the small lineup, and Zegarowski playing the 1, it allows Mintz to be more of an attacker from the wing, which is more his natural position.
Now, Damian Jefferson, when he got injured for Creighton, and it brought Zegarowski into the starting lineup. Zegarowski came in, took over the point, and Mintz moved off the ball. It's really opened things up for Mintz as Zegarowski drives it and finishes.
Well, you like the change of pace, and Zegarowski, very heady point guard and very confident using that crossover dribble to create some space with the finish.
He doesn't play like a freshman, does he?
He doesn't. He doesn't look like one either.
Butler still hasn't gotten Kamar Baldwin in the scoring column, and there is Baldwin right on cue, and how about that? A little English.
He's got all kinds of English with his shots, and very aggressive going to his left. He's a lefty scoring guard.
He was terrific in the first outing against Creighton earlier this season. Whistle and a foul.
And then Baldwin. Go.
Foul on Tucker. Here's Zegarowski. We're talking about this freshman that plays like a veteran.
Well,
he's a good one.
Well, he plays with confidence, and Coach McDermott was excited to have him in the lineup and give them some more quickness at the 1, and that crossover just froze Jorgensen a nice change of pace, and that's a nice dribble to use when you have the ball in the middle of the court.
Step into the free throw line now, too, where he's better than 76% from the line this season. Oh, no, it's going to be Tyshawn Alexander, excuse me. Zegarowski was there, and they said, no, it's going to be Alexander shooting them, so moved Zegarowski off the line. And it's interesting. This Creighton team has not shot the ball particularly well from the free throw line when you look at their overall statistics on the season. They've shot it better of late, but...
Yeah, it's strange because they're such a good shooting team that you would automatically think they shoot well from the stripe, but they haven't. And not only do they not shoot the ball well from the foul line, but they don't even get to the foul line often. Both these teams are near the bottom of the league in terms of free throw attempts.
Creighton by 2. It's been close since we started. 13 minutes left here in the first half. Tyreek Turner, Vince Welch with you from the CHI Health Center here in Omaha. Tucker rises and fires off the back of the iron, and the rebound pulled down by Caleb Joseph.
Tucker has settled for a couple jump shots. He's a talented scoring wing. Like to see him mix his game up a little bit, maybe get to the rim and use that size.
Joseph, one of just 2 seniors on this Creighton team, feeds it into Krampelj, and he's going to work. Can't finish. Taylor's there, or excuse me, Fowler for the rebound. Fowler can hit that three-pointer, but does not hit this time. You know, Fowler hadn't made a three-pointer the entire season, and then the first time these two teams met, he knocked down his first 3 attempts. They were mindful of him tonight.
Well, you know, both teams are still kind of settling for jump shots. Very little paint play by either team. You would think Butler, with their size and the attacking style of Baldwin and Tucker, will be able to get some penetration.
Inside, and Christian David draws the foul. Connor Cashaw called for the foul.
Break in 7, 6, 5.
It's been an exciting one so far, and close just as expected. Creighton on top of Butler early.
We're going to see if we can get some sound here from McDermott. 3, 2, 1, and go.
A couple of Big East teams in desperate need of a victory going at it tonight here in Omaha. Creighton on top of Butler, almost the halfway point here in the first half. Can't believe it's late January already. February just around the corner, and when we flip the calendar, of course, that means the greatest event in motorsports is back. We're talking about the Daytona 500. Kicks off the 2019 NASCAR season, coming your way February 17th. You see it on Fox. Joey Logano begins defending his NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series championship. You know, we talked about, Tariq, in the Open about Villanova and Marquette being atop the conference standings, and then everybody else with 4 losses. Almost impossible. I mean, when you look at it, it's almost hard to believe.
I don't think I've ever seen this in any conference, this kind of dynamic with 8 teams of the 10 with 4 losses, and then 2 teams kind of separating themselves. I think by next week, by the end of this weekend, that picture will be a little more clear, and we'll have a little more separation. Certainly, these 2 teams, Creighton and Butler, want to be in that conversation of moving up the ranks, because right now, you have 2 top-heavy teams, and then the rest are trying to fight for some space up near that top half.
Christian David at the free throw line. Butler coming off that home loss against Villanova, making tonight's game even more important because their next game is Wednesday against Marquette. I mean, there are no easy nights in the Big East.
No, there's not. And, you know, when we talked to LaVall Jordan, he said, look, you know, we want to come out here, obviously, and play well, but in order to win, they want to get the ball in the post more. They felt like at Villanova versus Villanova, that game they lost, they didn't get the ball inside enough, and you're starting to see Butler trying to attack with the pass, backdoor cuts, hard screens, and strong post-ups.
Both teams have been living beyond the three-point line so far tonight, neither shooting it well. Creighton 2 of 7 from beyond the arc. Butler is 1 for 5 from three-point range. Bryce Golden has come into the game for Butler for the first time tonight. Battle for the loose ball between Cashaw and David. David gets it, and it's finished by Aaron Thompson.
That's a live ball turnover. One of the concerns of Coach McDermott in their last game these 2 teams played was they had too many live ball turnovers that led to transition baskets for Butler. Quick hands by Butler getting out in the transition.
Make correction on that. Henry Badley, not Aaron Thompson, with the finish there for Butler. 3 from Joseph off the mark, and Jorgensen rebounds. Rises and misses.
Jorgensen's not afraid. He's one of those guys that can heat up quick. And it's just no one matching up there, and that's just unexcusable if you're Butler, especially with the way Creighton plays. They're going to try to get the ball up quick off of makes or misses. They want to score within 5 or 6 seconds.
Yeah, Butler's coach LaVall Jordan said he wanted Creighton to shoot in the second half of the shot clock. They barely took 5 seconds off the clock in that one.
Yep, and that's exactly what Creighton wants to do. They want to score quick and get a lot of shots up to put pressure on the defense.
Thompson drives it into the paint, draws the contact.
Cashaw bucket.
He's going to shoot the free throws.
Here's an example of how Creighton wants to play.
Thompson will shoot a couple. Thompson, a terrific young player, just a sophomore. He started all but 3 games in his 56-game career so far for the Bulldogs. Misses the first.
Thompson really come on strong, inserted into the lineup as a starting point guard, and just a good playmaker. You know, he knows how to run the team. I think he's one of the better defenders in the league in terms of being disruptive, quick hands, and more likely to drive the ball to the rim than shoot it. That's not really his strength, but a guy that doesn't need to score points to have an impact on his team.
Now 5th in the Big East in assists. Even though he shoots a decent percentage, not a guy looking to score first, that's for sure. Misses both those free throws, though, and Butler's going to have to do a better job at the line if they're going to get this road win here.
See the spacing and the movement by Creighton. Those are the 2 principles of their offense. And Butler, they have to be alert at all times because, as I said earlier, they're never going to have a lineup where they have less than 3 shooters on the court.
For Creighton, a little bit of a change in their lineup right now with Krampelj and also the big fella in Christian Bishop. Greg McDermott going with a couple of bigs. He tried that out at Georgetown and found it effective, and now Bishop's going to be called for the foul. Use that extra arm, but what does McDermott want to get out of having Bishop and Krampelj on the floor at the same time?
Well, he likes their size, their ability to protect the paint and rebound and give some physicality. The problem is, though, is sometimes it can clog up their spacing, and when you have 3 or 4 shooters on the court, spacing is a premium. So he has to find a fine line between using his bigs, kind of staggering them, and then at times playing them together.
First 10, last 9.
A little bit of a break for Creighton there, they called, actually traveling before the foul on that particular sequence involving Bishop. Ball knocked away, and there's Krampelj. Looked at the 3, put it on the floor, and finished it. Called a foul on Joey Brunk.
You know what I like about that is he took his time. He didn't settle for the 3, even though he had it. Nice little shot fake, and he knew he had the quickness advantage over Brunk and attacked his feet off the bounce with the strong finish.
That's the 2nd foul on Brunk. He
first 10 last
goes to the bench. We talk about Martin Krampelj and what he has done in the second part of the season so far. Just terrific numbers compared to what he did the first 10 games.
Well, he epitomizes leadership, and he's a guy that you don't have to really question what he's going to bring, whether he's scoring or not. He's going to bring effort. He's going to bring heart and soul. And any guy that comes back from 3 ACLs and plays the way he does, you have to be pretty impressed.
I think maybe an indication that he's getting closer to 100% after that ACL surgery last January. Kamar Baldwin called for the offensive foul over Butler.
This Creighton team is kind of baiting Baldwin to drive the ball hard. A nice job by Zegarowski moving his feet, beat him to the spot, and Baldwin kind of extended his arm out a little bit, causing the offensive foul. There's that double high screen they like to use with 2 guys rolling, with ball movement on either side of the court.
Krampelj getting good position underneath.
Well, you like the angle and the probe dribble by Zegarowski to get the ball into Krampelj, and Krampelj continues to do a nice job of sealing his man on his backside where he can get an angle for a basket.
It's a 5-point advantage for Creighton. Mark matching the largest lead of the night as Kamar Baldwin cuts into it with a 3-pointer.
Baldwin is the most dangerous player on the court if you're Butler.
But back to the Krampelj pass.
Krampelj just so effective down on the block.
Well, you watch him seal his man. He gets really low, fights his man off, and then separates. But it starts with him getting position, the angle, and the footwork to seal his man and put him on his backside, gave him an open layup.
Mintz on the drive, traveled.
Well, Baldwin did a nice job of closing out on Mintz there and moving his feet. And LaVall Jordan said, hey, when we play this Creighton team, we have to have Muhammad Ali feet. That means we have to be alert, we have to have quick feet, and be ready for the three-point shot, but also be ready to protect the drive.
Good look at LaVall Jordan and his point guard, Aaron Thompson. Jordan's really done a nice job in a short amount of time at Butler, continuing the Butler way.
Absolutely. As a former player, knows the culture of the program, bringing in his guys and getting them to buy in.
McDermott missed the three. Ballack chases down the loose ball and pushes.
Anytime Ballack drives, he's going to pass the ball. So
just give you a shot of Krampelj to break.
Turnover. Butler will have it when we get back.
7,
Martin Krampelj has been.
To understand that this is for one reason, cancer awareness.
Yeah, McDermott brought the program here to Creighton when he came 9 years ago. Began when he was coaching at Iowa State. Began when McDermott's wife Teresa was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it has done so many good things for the community here. Kamar Baldwin out of the timeout, gets Butler.
That's a nice play. They run out of a timeout. It's a probe dribble by Baldwin and a nice post up. Thing you like about that is Baldwin can shoot with either hand. That time he finished with the right.
Baldwin's got 7. Game is tied, and Tucker called for the foul.
So it's kind of like an isolation play where they just isolate Baldwin, and he likes to drive middle. And when he drives, even though he's a lefty, Vince, he's more comfortable driving to his right. It's pretty nice to be ambidextrous.
Saw Jordan Tucker pleading his case. That's his second foul, so he's going to have to leave the game. And Henry Badley comes back for Butler. I think Baldwin uses the offhand as well as anybody in the game in college basketball right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's very adept at finishing with either hand, and he'll shoot that right hand floater in crunch time, you know, because he can do it, and he's very efficient at using either hand.
Oh, Kamar Baldwin!
What?
He used the offhand on that one.
Yes, he did. I mean, that was an amazing dunk. I mean, we got to see that again. We will, but if this is at Hinkle, this place would have been rocking. Explosiveness.
Wow. Ballack inside to Froling. Not as sexy, but just as effective.
Froling using his size around the rim. Nice job just getting low and using that lefty unorthodox style.
Second foul on Fowler. Both the Butler big men have 2 fouls apiece, and so does
absolutely. I just had to show that foul.
So does Chad Tucker, or Jordan Tucker, I should say. Jorgensen trying to find Fowler, guarded by Froling. Good defense from Froling, denying the ball.
They're switching out on the screens.
Shot clock under 5. Baldwin has to put it up, and it's an air ball. Mintz pushing the lob, and it's a turnover. Six minutes left in the first half. 1-point game, Creighton on top. McDermott gets on the baseline, puts it up, a little bit of contact, no whistle. And last touch by McDermott. Let's watch Kamar Baldwin get after it here.
This is just ridiculous. He just leans in with the right. And Froling attempted to jump, but just got there too late. Nice job exploding off the ball screen. That's what Baldwin does really well, turning the corner and attacking the rim with authority.
Baldwin's got 9, averages over 17 per game. Better than 20 points per game during Big East play. There's a good defensive matchup with Henry Badley right there facing Tyshawn Alexander.
You have to pay attention because this Creighton team.
Zagorowski +1.
Zagorowski's been aggressive all game in this first half of using his dribble penetration to create offense for himself, and just does a good job of attacking and knows he has the quickness advantage over McDermott. Gets that angle and drives baseline. You know, when we talked to Coach McDermott, Vince, about this young man, the freshman, you know, he said after every game, he's in their office watching film and trying to get better. And that's what you want from a freshman, and Zegarowski has certainly got a lot of future promise.
Well, with the two bigs, Fowler and Brunk, in foul trouble, Bryce Golden in the middle for the Butler Bulldogs now. And we'll see if Golden can hold his own. Missed quite a bit of the season because of a shoulder injury. In fact, the first 11 games after off-season shoulder surgery. Started to get back into the mix a little bit, but with Brunk and Fowler each with 2 fouls, even more expected of Golden in this situation.
Yeah, you know, he has to, LaVall Jordan has to go into his bench a little bit more with the foul trouble, and, you know, that's part of the rigors of the Big East. You know, you normally want to have 8 guys that you can depend on. And
Paul Jorgensen called for the foul, holding Ballack on that free throw, and Creighton in the double bonus going to shoot a couple. Ballack 75% shooter from the free throw line.
Ballack, Coach McDermott calls him the most selfless player he's ever coached. And selfless in the sense that he doesn't care about his shots. He doesn't care about personal stats. He just wants to win and do what's best for the team. Kind of a fun-spirited guy. I had to remind Coach McDermott this morning how good of a foul shooter he was when he iced the previous game with 4 foul shots when they're in their win at Georgetown.
Yeah, broke his nose a couple of games ago against St. John's. Played one game with the mask and said, I think I've had enough of that. Took it off. Jorgensen drives it in, can't get it off the glass. Battle for the rebound, and the freshman Zegarowski clears it.
Good job by Butler getting back.
Oh, Ballack from way downtown off the mark, and Christian David snags the rebound for Butler. Under 5 minutes to play, first half. Inside, and there is Golden. He said Bryce Golden's going to need to come in and do something, and he did it.
Yeah, you know, he's making his minutes worth something, and, you know, you don't have to score off the bench, but if you can just be solid defensively and finish around the rim, then that's a bonus.
Stops an 8-0 run for Creighton, but Alexander answers right back for the Blue Jays.
Well, he's got to get himself going. He's their best overall player, and he's the kind of guy that feeds off of confidence, obviously, and he's the kind of guy that really needs to get himself in a rhythm.
Jorgensen comes back for Butler with the jump shot. Yeah, you talk about Alexander being their top scorer. Took him, what, 16 minutes to get his first basket. Mintz has it blocked by David. You don't expect Tyshawn Alexander to go 16 minutes without a basket.
No, he's got to stay aggressive. And they're going to call an illegal screen on Krampelj there.
Give you one more look of our leading scorer.
Martin Krampelj called for the foul. It's a tight one.
Mar Baldwin, the dynamic junior, said, meet me at.
Made threes per game, just 2 of them tonight.
Yeah, it goes back to LaVall Jordan's goal is to hold them to under 10, to hold them to 9 or less. And right now they're on pace. I think the main reason they've been able to do that is they've done a pretty good job, Butler has, of getting back in transition and not, you know, giving up any open threes. They've been able to close out, get high hands on all their shooters. And what you want to do versus Creighton is run them off the three-point line, make them drivers. And if they do get a 3, you want to make sure it's contested.
But we will add, Creighton can put those in a hurry.
In a hurry, and that's exactly right. And, you know, LaVall Jordan will not rest easy until this game is over if they're able to come out with the win.
I guarantee you Creighton's not going to stop shooting him. Neither is Butler as Fowler steps outside the arc and hits it. He had 3 3-pointers against Creighton when the two teams met back in January 5th in Indianapolis.
Well, he's probably their most versatile big in terms of being able to step out and face up. Nice touch by the big man.
Grabs the rebound off that miss, and here's Thompson. Quickly to the other end, finds Jorgensen for 3. Zegarowski. Wow. Marcus Zegarowski, the freshman.
Well, what I like about him is he's always under control and he still plays with speed. And when he gets the nice push like that, he's getting downhill and he's trying to get to the rim.
Freshman from Hamilton, Massachusetts. He's got 7.
He's got his head up. He's got good ball control and does a nice job of, creating space with that handle. He's got a nice handle, little inside-out change to freeze ball one, and then he's getting to the basket pretty easily.
Under 3 minutes to play here in the first half. Unlike the first time these two teams met, this one has been tight from the get-go.
They're playing off the ball and daring him to shoot the 3. The percentages make sense. He's only about a 28% three-point shooter.
Jorgensen just can't buy one right now from the floor. But he's a confident shooter. He will 3-point shots of the game against Nebraska. I mean, he can hit them in bunches.
He's got that confidence and plays in the system under Coach McDermott where only reason he would come out of the game is if he doesn't shoot it.
There's Jordan Tucker with the basketball back in for Butler despite those 2 fouls. Fowler's got 2 fouls. He's got the basketball now. Leans, drops the shoulder, misses the shot. Ballack rebounds.
Well defended.
And Ballack stepped on the sideline, out of bounds. Turnover.
This Butler team has hit a little rut offensively, and I think part of it is that Creighton has done a good job of jumping the ball screens and blitzing them and trying to corral the ball to go more out towards the half-court line instead of allowing Butler to get to the rim.
Final 90 seconds of the first half.
That blitz right there by Baldwin. They're trapping him on the ball screen.
Take it away. Alexander mismatches. Fowler just picks up his 3rd foul. And Tyshawn Alexander is going to go to the free throw line and shoot 3.
Well, smart play by Alexander. He knew he had the mismatch, and he just had to choose what he was going to do to get his shot off, and Fowler just lunged forward, and not a smart foul.
Alexander 77% from the free throw line. Been a little bit quiet in regards to his scoring tonight. We mentioned just got his first field goal of the night, but he's knocked down 3 free throws so far this evening.
Well, the thing you like about Alexander is he has amnesia. He can forget about, the previous play, even if it doesn't go his way, and move on to the next. And that's what you want to see from any player, but particularly your leader and your best player.
2 of 3 from the free throw line.
They continue to trap Baldwin, and I think that's been a nice defensive strategy by Creighton to get the ball out of his hands.
Tucker has it knocked away, but Butler will keep it. Creighton's largest lead of the game at 7 with 55 left on the clock here in the first half. Greg McDermott's Blue Jays really worked defensively on this situation during the shoot-around today, guarding the Butler inbound plays. Didn't want to give up something like that, which was a Tucker three-pointer, and it was defended well. In transition, 3, got it. Davion Mintz. It's a 10-point Creighton lead.
And that's exactly how you draw it up. If you're Coach McDermott, this crowd
break, I'll give you a 3 to break.
Getting excited.
Commercial 7.
It's a 9-0 run for the Creighton Blue Jays.
That's a big play. And they have a little momentum going into the half. If they count that, which I'm pretty sure they should.
The officials will take a look at it at the scorer's table. We'll give you a quick look at it. Did he get rid of it before the red light came on the backboard? Yes. What a turnaround. Creighton thought they were going to get the last shot and maybe the last basket before the half.
Heads-up play, and that could be a little bit of a momentum shift. You know, instead of going down 8 points at the half, you go down 6 if you're Butler, and you have a little momentum going into the second half.
Both these teams in desperate need of a victory. Oh, Big East battle in Omaha. Christian David gives Butler the bucket, down 6. Kevin Burkhardt and company up next after this break.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. A little crazy there at the end.
Alexander. Tyshawn Alexander.
I expect him to be much more aggressive in this second half. Looking for a shot, coming off of ball screens. And they're a different team.
By Jeep Grand Cherokee. Sellout crowd on hand, better than 18,000 here at the CHI Health Center in Omaha, where the fans are enjoying watching the Creighton Blue Jays lead the Butler Bulldogs.
And just back to our point about Tyshawn Alexander, the jump from last season, 5.5 points to 17.5, is very, very impressive. You can see a couple other guys, Phil Booth, who's a super senior, 5th-year senior star guard for Villanova, also increasing his points average, and then Paul Scruggs doing the same for Xavier. Roles change year to year. It's always interesting to see what guys can kind of step up and take on that more of a leadership role.
Ballack looked good, but off the back of the iron. Neither team lighting it up from 3-point range. Butler 3 of 13, Creighton 4 of 14.
Jordan Tucker's not in the game now, but he's been awfully quiet. They need something from him. He's played really well the last 7 or 8 games, but been very quiet.
Joey Brunk coming alive. He's got 6 points here in the second half, 6 of Butler's 8.
Brunk is starting to assert himself with nice post catches.
And Martin Krampelj comes back. He's got a dozen.
That's what he's really good at, screening hard and then rolling hard to the rim. The bigs of Creighton, particularly Krampelj, do a good job of creating space with the hard roll.
3 from Badley. Missed it. Jorgensen gives Butler a second chance. Davion Mintz and Martin Krampelj making it hard on Kamar Baldwin.
When Baldwin is trapped on the ball screen, they need to find someone that has a release man, whether it's the roller or an opposite wing.
Tried to find Badley, and it was stolen away by Alexander, and he converts.
Well, when they're in transition, they're at their best, and Alexander, nice balance and patience going with the shot fake and the finish.
Lead back to 9. Creighton led by as many as 10 in the first half, as Jorgensen has it rejected by Krampelj. Defense to offense. Davion Mintz.
Well, the pace and the speed of Creighton and the way they get the ball up so quick, along with this crowd here, puts Butler in a vulnerable situation right now.
And Brunk is going to be called for traveling.
Let's go back to the block and then the bucket.
Knocks down the big shot.
Baldwin was 17, right at his season average. Christian David bumping bodies with Froling. Froling loses the handle on it, and now Tyshawn Alexander. They kick it around the corner to Mintz. And the rebound pulled down by Fowler, and a foul. Well, Butler hasn't made many threes, but if they can get Kamar Baldwin or anybody knocking him down, it's going to make a big difference.
Well, he's a heads-up player. You know, he knew that Mintz was overplaying, so he just kind of back cut, flared to the corner, and that's the sign of a guy that knows how to get you a bucket.
That previous whistle was a foul on Jordan Tucker. That is his third. Under 10 minutes to play here in Omaha. Both these teams, Creighton and Butler, 2 of the 8 teams in the conference that have 4 losses, and they have got to get it turned around quickly as Caleb Joseph knocks down the triple.
Well, you can never relax versus this Creighton team because they just keep coming at you with three-pointer after three-pointer.
Back to a double-figure lead. Tucker lets it fly. Finally, Jordan Tucker, his first three-pointer of the night.
Still enough time for Tucker to get himself going. Let's see if that three can open up some driving lanes, because so far tonight he's been more of a jump shooter than a guy that attacks the rim.
That's his first basket since early in the game as Mintz is fouled.
Joseph three, then the Tucker three.
Well, we thought we'd see a lot of 3 points made tonight. Haven't been that many, but maybe this is a change.
Yeah, well, you know, Joseph comes off the bench and gives him some guard play and knocks down a nice three. And then Tucker trying to get himself going. His first field goal since early in the first half.
Off the inbounds, Alexander airball, and Zagorowski got the rebound and then missed one of his own. Froling kept it alive, and Caleb Joseph gets to the loose ball.
Those just kill you if you're Butler, because those are extra possessions, hustle plays, 50-50 balls. Then
well, the game of volleyball finally won by Butler, and there's an offensive foul against Baldwin.
You see how Alexander kind of baited him into a bumping game, and that's the second offensive foul by Baldwin. Little flopping by Alexander didn't hurt either.
Baldwin pleading his case to no avail. Don't see him change that call too often.
No.
Once they've blown it, it's...
No, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Lots of arguing, rarely change.
Yeah.
Under 8.5 to play. Alexander guarded by Fowler. Joseph just knocked down a three. And now Ballack handles it. Shot clock under 10. And there's going the other way as Ballack is called for the offensive foul. And on Ballack, that is 4.
That's a big foul. He'll tell you, that Ballack picks up his fourth, and Thompson sniffed it out. He knew that Ballack was going to try to reject the ball screen and go to his right. And Thompson, we talked about it earlier, Vince, he is one of the better defenders in the conference. Just a freshman, but very smart, very savvy with the way he can draw fouls.
So Ballack goes to the bench with those 4 fouls. Connor Cashaw comes in. Cashaw, the senior from Lincolnshire, Illinois, getting some more minutes tonight. Tucker, air ball, or barely caught a little bit of iron, and a whistle and a foul underneath.
Break
Coach Greg McDermott doesn't like it as Zagorowski picks up.
4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Coming up Sunday, got a great Big East doubleheader. First, it's one of college basketball's great rivalries being renewed. Georgetown battling St. John's. You know a little something about that, don't you?
Yep, I do.
And then Seton Hall takes on number 18 Villanova. Seton Hall's lost 3 in a row. Villanova has won 7 straight. A couple of great games on tap Sunday, and you'll see them on Fox.
Well, it's interesting, Vince, because Villanova obviously off to the shaky start early, but has found their way with the leadership of Pascal and Booth, the 2 fifth-year seniors, the 2 super seniors, and now they're 6-0 in the Big East. And here we look at the Schwab master and his projections. And Vince, obviously there's 5 teams projected there. A lot can change between now and the end of February, but I think the interesting thing is after Marquette and Villanova, those other 3 teams, St. John's certainly in the conversation with their talent, and then Butler, the last 4 in along with Seton Hall. Not a position you want to be in, but certainly good to be in the conversation.
Yeah, with 8 teams having 4 losses in the Big East, it is a logjam, but it had, Schwab has Butler in and Creighton out. A lot of that has to do with the fact Butler's 3-3 against the top 50 net teams, and Creighton is 0-8 against the top 50. Bronk inside, but can't finish it. And Caleb Joseph comes away with it.
Now you got to finish though. You're 2 feet in, nice footwork, you make a nice move. Now you have to just complete the play with the finish.
Brunk's done a good job doing that here in the second half, but couldn't get that one down. Creighton trying to protect and expand on an 8-point lead. Joseph, long three, off the mark, and Brunk rebounds. There's Jordan Tucker, and Tucker is knocked down, and it's a foul on Tashawn Alexander.
Well, Tucker got lucky because Alexander guessed that he was going to go left and guessed right. And Tucker lost control of that dribble, but there was contact made, which is why the foul was called.
Caleb Joseph goes to the bench. Davion Mintz into the ball game. Creighton has 16 fouls here in the second half. Butler just 3. As Baldwin takes it in with the right hand, missed it. Brunk had it momentarily, but knocked away by Alexander. And then thrown away at the other end.
That's the turnover problem that Coach McDermott talked to us about in the pregame, is those empty possessions. You know, you have an 8-point lead. Just because you want to play fast doesn't mean you can't play out of control.
14 Creighton turnovers here tonight. Butler turned a dozen Creighton turnovers into 25 points in the first meeting. One of the keys to that Butler victory. Oh, Krampelj and Tucker collide, and then both go for the basketball. It'll be Butler ball.
That's why you love Krampelj. That play right there tells you what he means to this team, even though they don't get the ball back. The hedge and the hustle, both players fighting for that loose possession, but Krampelj does a nice job of defending and cutting off that drive.
Remember, that's a guy that just had his ACL repaired a year ago. Baldwin, how did he make that shot?
And that's another shot by his right hand. That's the 4th shot, I believe, he's made with his righty.
Baldwin with 19. He barely even had possession of that ball before he got it up and in.
2-possession game now. Butler staying close, and a lot of it has to do with Baldwin staying in attack mode.
And again, Butler has gotten Creighton deep into the shot clock, but Alexander nets a 3-pointer.
That step back, so efficient to create space, especially when the defender is trying to retreat.
Second triple of the half for Alexander. He's got 11. Still well below his average of 17 and a half, but he's starting to heat up a little bit.
Then the Alexander answer.
Well, if this was a game of horse, Baldwin would be in charge with the lead because he makes degree of difficulty shots look easy. Then Alexander with the step back. You know, it's very hard to guard a guy that can step back and create that kind of space, especially when the defender is trying to slide his
lead back to 9. Almost knocked away by Mintz. Baldwin recovers with the pressure that Creighton is putting on, really out beyond the 3-point line, dictating the game right now.
They've been the quicker team defensively, Creighton has, and really impressed by the double team strategy of Creighton on Baldwin all night long. Even though Baldwin is 8 of 10 from the field, they have swarmed him and blitzed every pick and roll that he's been involved in. And it's really ignited their defense to get a lot of loose balls.
Baldwin's going to go to the bench, catch a breather. But he won't be there long, we wouldn't imagine. As Creighton has the basketball after that tie-up and under 5 minutes to play. Zagorowski and Krampelj trying to work the pick and roll, defended by Butler, and now Cashaw has it, shot clock under 10. Mintz threw it to the corner, but nobody was there, and it's a turnover.
He thought Froling was in the game, even though Froling was on the bench standing up. Only good thing about that is they worked the whole shot clock, and with a 9-point lead, the clock is your friend. Be interesting to see if Creighton doesn't take the doesn't take their foot off the gas in terms of being aggressive, but uses the clock more efficiently instead of taking so many quick shots with a 9-point lead winding down the 4-minute stretch.
Brunk back in for Fowler. If Butler's going to make a run here in the final 4 minutes plus.
It's got to happen now. I mean, they're running out of time, and the biggest issue has been all Baldwin, and he hasn't had much help.
Jorgensen, the runner, and sticks between the iron and the backboard, and the possession arrow is in favor of Butler, so the Bulldogs will keep it.
Jorgensen has shown the ability to get his shot off.
Look at these numbers.
Well, this stat right here tells the story, Vince.
These numbers with Baldwin has done 21 points. The rest of the team just 34. Tucker draws the foul. He'll go to the free throw line.
Live to break. 7, 6.
Under 4 minutes to play in this one. Butler hopes to make a run down the.
Like 6 or so, and we get a timeout. I may give you that graphic about the tight competition, the games in the Big East stat, that full page. Should hear a little music. 30 to the studio.
And increase their pace and be more efficient getting to the rim. And obviously they're in the bonus so they can make foul shots, stop the clock, and set up some ball pressure. But I don't think it's necessarily time to panic yet with just 4 minutes left.
Don't worry about it.
Still enough time, but they need to get someone else, and hopefully it's Tucker if you're about Jordan.
Again, Vince, we'll do it
who
again.
just made a nice play to get to the foul line.
No, you're good.
Jordan Tucker at the free throw line, going to get 2 shots. And we talked about Tucker and his lack of production tonight, just 2 of 7 from the floor, 1 of 6 from three-point range. But that free throw is key. All of them will be key down the stretch.
Sure, and he has a world of talent, Jordan Tucker. Originally committed to Duke, transferred, sat out last year, and you know, at 6'6", 6'7", strong upper body, has the chance to be a really big-time scorer for this Butler team.
Top 50 recruit out of high school. And there's a whistle and a foul. It's going against Mintz, or excuse me, against Thompson.
Butler has some fouls to give, so they can be a little more aggressive. I think LaVall Jordan said, hey, Thompson, I want you to be a little more aggressive, take some chances, try to ignite this team with your defensive ball pressure. That's what he's really good at.
Ballack inbounds. He's got 4 fouls. So he has to be careful on both ends of the floor to make sure he doesn't pick up that 5th. Thompson hounding Mintz. Now Zagorowski guarded by Christian David.
You can see Creighton is being more effective at using the clock. They're not taking quick shots, which is smart basketball. When you have a lead, you want to use the clock as your friend.
Mintz lets it fly, missed it, and the rebound pulled down by Baldwin, but there's a whistle underneath.
Yeah, it looked like that foul was on Alexander.
And it is Tyshawn Alexander picking it up.
Replay.
You kind of, I didn't see it there.
Jordan Tucker sold it, that's for sure.
You know what? Jordan Tucker sold that. There was no foul there.
And now Tucker's
Jeff Anderson saw Tucker flying, and he went for it. Nice job by Tucker.
Now the 1-and-1.
Now
Makes
we have a 2-possession game here, so you know there's plenty of time for Butler to get back and get where they need to be. You know, this is kind of a dangerous time for Creighton. You know, the fine line between using the clock and getting a good shot means you have to stay with your principles. Movement and spacing have been what has worked for them in terms of getting good, clean shots.
All possessions big at this stage of the game, and 1 for Davion Mintz.
And right on cue, Mintz realizes he has the mismatch, and all night long, Creighton has exploited mismatches when Butler switches out, especially with the big guarding someone like Mintz, who's good at attacking the rim. They have taken advantage of it. That's good basketball by the Blue Jays.
Nate Fowler was whistled for that foul. That is 4 on Fowler as David leaves the game for McDermott. Fowler will stay in with those 4 fouls as Mintz goes to the free throw line. Mintz has made 16 of his last 17 from the stripe. At 28 the last time these two teams met. Here's that defensive pressure forcing a turnover. Baldwin for 3. No. Boy, that was way down in and out before Zegarowski pulls the rebound, and now Krampelj.
Heads-up play by Zegarowski with the cross-the-court pass.
And now blocks it, does Krampelj at the defensive end.
And McDermott may have hurt his knee.
And off the missed Creighton shot, there's going to be a timeout. And McDermott is down with the injury.
Doesn't look good.
Ryan Galloy, the trainer for Butler, out to attend to McDermott.
Here's the injury.
And Alexander might have hurt himself, or maybe he has a cramp.
Val Jordan is asking whether or not that was over and back, but not what the officials didn't see it that way. Baldwin misses the shot. Krampelj rebounds. And the final seconds are ticking away. $14-point win for Greg McDermott's Creighton Blue Jays. Creighton now 3-4 in the Big East.
Guys, let's take a look at that
Butler
Alexander
falls
play
to
real
3-5.
Go back to that Alexander real quick.
Let's go back to this Tyshawn Alexander driving
Off
in.
the finish.
It
looked like he might have cramped up. I'm not sure if that was an impact injury.
Studio. 10, 9 back to the studio, 8.
Final score, 75-61. Creighton over Butler. Let's go back to Los Angeles. Kevin Burkhardt, Lav, and Donnie Marshall.
All right, you guys are all good. We're going to get a McDermott with
the
LA.
next half hour or so. Plenty to do. We'll go back to Omaha, speak live with Coach Greg McDermott, plus highlights from around the country, including number 5 Michigan riding a hot start to a big win over Indiana. Also number 14 Buffalo, and looking to get back from their first conference loss. How would they respond?
Yeah,
Donnie
you guys
Marshall
are all
is
clear.
Here. Steve Lavin
Have a
is
good
here,
night. Safe
and I'm
travels.
Kevin Burkhardt. And so Creighton.
Are you just staying there, Vince?
There's 2 ways to look at this one. We'll start with Creighton. They needed a win at home in conference, and they got Donnie. They got a very balanced effort tonight to get that done.
Yeah, we talk about them as scoring and shooting threes. They did a good job defensively, holding Butler to 40%.
Hey, Coach, this is Eric, the producer. Are you here in the studio on your headset?
Which guys he can trust, I think, and which guys can play at certain points of the game.
Just look at the camera, and we'll get you to shortly.
Probably.